Here is part 3 of my career journey from a publicist to an influencer to a podcast host. So I left off saying that after I quit PR, I became an influencer, which means I was just basically making money through Instagram ads and started my own podcast called The Publicity Podcast. So I had a good run with that. I did it for 2.5 years. Right before my 30th birthday, I went to a psychic. It was my first time getting my own apartment in the city, and I was gonna be living alone, and I was turning 30, and I really just wanted to see a psychic. I'd never seen one before, but I felt like now was the time. At this time, TikTok was a platform that I was posting on. I had about 100,000 followers, but I wasn't really seeing great traction, and I had posted a video about mid-size fashion, and overnight my audience grew from like 100,000 followers to 300,000 followers. So when I went to the psychic, he mentioned that I was seeing great success and something was taking off, but something bigger was on the horizon, something so big that he could feel it and he couldn't explain it, but it was going to be massive. I didn't know what he meant, but it did make me excited. I just figured I would continue to grow on TikTok. But about a few weeks later, I was sitting on the couch and I was thinking about my podcast, and I was feeling super unmotivated by it because I didn't want to talk about pop culture anymore. I felt like it wasn't fulfilling. We had just been through the worst part of the pandemic. People were dying. We had so many movements going on. Things felt so deep. I felt so vapid talking about celebrities. So I decided to pitch Barstool Sports a podcast concept, and it was what I always wanted to do. It was me talking about female topics like body image, mental health, dating in your 30s, freezing your eggs, PMS, therapy. And I DM'd Dave Portnoy and I pitched him. Keep in mind, I was a publicist, so I knew how to craft my pitch. I'm not saying to follow what I did and go DM him, because I just think it was by the grace of God that it worked out, because the psychic literally told me it was coming, and it worked. And I went in for an interview, and now I've been there for a year. Let me know if you have any other questions about my career. Clearly, I'm doing my nighttime skincare routine.